Alrighty, another great day, another great day. Welcome everybody and happy holidays. For those of you, it is Christmas here in Korea. So that means it's probably the 24th, Christmas Eve in the United States or somewhere around those lines. Here in Korea, it is Christmas morning, specifically 5:54 a.m. I've been up since 4:30. Made a little bit of an espresso and thought I would jump into this day. I'm painting a miniature. So as we can see up here, what we ended up doing is printing out an orc on our Creality K2 Plus. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at that. Here is said orc. And yeah, he turned out pretty good. George pops in and says, "Merry Christmas, good sir." Same to you. Yes, it is Christmas morning here in Korea. So we're kind of just going over what we printed out on the Creality K2 Plus that we can see over here. And yeah, the orc has got some pretty good details. Granted, it is on a 0.4 millimeter nozzle on the Creality K2 Plus, and we printed it out at a 0.08 layer height. So it's a little bit muddled, but we printed it out, and we're going to go to the paint station and check this out. So with that, here is the paint station. We're going to try something a little bit different. We're going to try to do a top-down view. And with that, we're going to see if we can't get the, we've got our morning latte going. Oh, nice, hot and frothy. And let's see if we can get our tablet so we can find out what's going on. And we'll try, no, I don't want to review the, and let's see, how does this look? So there, I'm trying to figure this out where I need to check this out. So there is said orc, and we did kind of a zenithal. So there we can see the shadows underneath, and then we did the white. So that is going to be our guy. Sorry if it's a little bit washed out. Maybe that'll help a little bit. So yeah, it turned out not too bad. And let's see what else. Okay, we got our tablet up and running. We should be good. A little bit of a breakfast bar. And now, let's start in with the 2.0. So I think what we'll end up doing, I'll kind of do this orc in green. So we will get a, and I really need to clean this up. Maybe I'll do that for Christmas, as I will clean up my area here. Let's try, should we do like a yellowish orc? Or should we do more of a greenish orc? Let's do more of a greenish orc. We'll do that. Holy crow. We'll mix up our paints a little bit and get started on this. Yesterday, how was everybody's day yesterday? Ours was pretty good. We ended up, we went to the gym, and I wrecked my arms. It was quite the endeavor. Let's see. I can feel it in my chest. I can feel it in my arms. I did all kinds of weighted dips and fun stuff. Let's see. I need to get this ready. This is a cheap little thing. That's just kind of a little brush cleaner thing. So that we have a little bit of water, maybe. I think we can get a little bit of water, and I think we can use this brush. It will be good. And what we'll end up doing is I'm not going to pour any out. I'm just going to dab the brush a little bit with this. And so that way just kind of load that up. And let's see, how does that look? And we will just kind of put on now again, this is the Speed Paint 2.0. Biggs Android says, Merry Christmas, everyone. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you. Happy holidays, all of that good stuff. And I think he's got hair. It's going to be kind of hard to tell. He's got some kind of hair-ish type stuff going on, so we're just going to kind of go underneath here, and then we'll paint these areas with the green that should turn out good. And just get underneath here. Get under the arms. And is that a support, or no, I don't think that's a support. Hey, we got Star Killer, afternoon, morning, depending on where you are, evening, dark 30. And yeah, so we decided to paint up our orc and to see how this guy, how we can rock this guy with the speed paints. And see how that goes. I'll have to do a little bit on his hand. The great thing about miniatures is you don't need much paint. Which is nice. So that is always a good thing. And the details on this, like I said, the details are a little muddled, but see that we're getting some good color already. I like that. Let's see, do we got any other exposed skin? I don't think so. Actually, that came out pretty nice on the face. We'll get some pictures and everything, but yeah, nice. Again, the speed paints are quite nice. Let's see, what are some other big things that we can do on this? I think we can do some brown, because we got brown that we can do, and then the silver for like the armor pieces, hammer. Of course, we can do some brown on the handle as well. And yeah, we can do some, I think we'll do brown next. So we're going to try to work this from the lowest layer, which is like we see the skin, and kind of work in layers as we go up. So you have the skin, and then you have some clothing, then armor. So we're going to work our way from, I guess, the inside out. And the silver will kind of be last. So let's kind of rock a brown. And then the little details, like the chains will be silver, skulls will be obviously skeleton bone-ish looking. And yeah, it'll be an interesting, maybe we'll throw some bronze on there. Maybe we'll even get some metallic colors. So we need a brown. And with the brown, I think we'll use the satchel brown. That comes out pretty good. Okay, whatever that was. Like I said, I need to clean my station. It's getting a little rough. Hey, we've got, let's see, anything else going on? Did Santa bring you all some good stuff? I woke up. Cookies and milk were still there. There was nothing. We don't have a fireplace, so I think that's probably why we didn't get anything from Santa this year, is we don't have a fireplace. So, note to self, get a fireplace. Let's see how that goes. We got somebody else that says, AZY Rail, Israel, 321 ST4 says, I do not have one of these mini holders for painting. Much more comfortable to hold a mini than those. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I just happen to have one of these. It's a little early in the morning. We will put that out there, that it is early. Look at that. There we go. Thank you. You get the star for the day. Fun. Okay. So we'll load up a little bit of brown. Like I said, it's early morning here in Korea, so I'm not running on all fours right now. So, oh yes, this is going to be so much better. So I appreciate that. I'll just do some brown on here. Oh, I like that brown. Brown comes out really good. And then we can always go back and we can do the little rivets and everything on here with some silver or gold or a copper color. And that will really make that pop. So, yeah. Oh yeah, this is going to be nice. Nice. And the holder works really well. Imagine that. Here I was holding the mini by the base and everything. So yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that. That was my Christmas present. It was reminding me and saying, hey, why don't you go ahead and use the holder. You bought it and paid for it, so it'd probably be a good thing to use. Yeah, this brown's coming out nice. That satchel brown, you can see that. How well does that come out? Oh yeah, that's nice. Nice. And again, the speed paints and the zenithal, it can really bring out some colors and texture. So that turned out really good. Let's see. We're gonna have to get that thing there. And the speed paints just really fill in the recesses. So that is also good. And then we'll kind of go through and we'll hit the chains and everything with the silver, so that should be okay. I'll just try to get, we got some other, do some other brown. I could do, looks like we could do a little bit of a of orc color on his leg. I think I missed that. So you throw on some orc since we did that, because it looks like we got the orc color. And we used algae green. So let's go ahead and we'll knock that out real quick. It's going to be pretty good. not much. That's the one thing about miniatures, is that they're small. And you know, when it's small, you don't need a lot of colors. So yeah, we get a little bit of his thigh action in there, so you can see that. Let me double check and see if we got anything. No, I think we're good. I think we're good on the color for the orc skin. Let's see, what else do we got going on? Other than that, that's what we got going on. Nothing real crazy. I think we'd do some more brown. Got some areas on here. And we could, well, it's kind of like an armor plate on that, and an armor plate there. We can just do a little bit of touch up. Tiny places that I missed. Not bad, not bad at all. So, and the brown, we could also do some brown on that staff. I think that'll work as well. That's a lot. So that's okay. And then we can come back, and then we can hit that up with some silver, kind of the rings around the staff. That is really dark. Okay, all right, there we go. That's pretty good. So we got the staff there. Anything else that's brown? I think not. I think we're good on the brown. So now, let's see what we can do. We could do a little bit of, well, you know, we could do some brown on the shoes. We could do that, because we could kind of do the brown. That would give some separation on the base here. And I think what we can end up doing is perhaps we could do some grayish colors. So maybe this occultic cloak for kind of the rock down there, and then maybe we can go back, and we'll go back to the brown, we'll do the shoes. I think that'll be a good contrast. And so I think that turns out good. Gonna take a little swig. Vanilla coconut is what we're doing this morning. Latte. Let's see how this turns out. Oh yeah, I think this will be good for the stone, and we could even go back, but I want to try to make this just speed paint. So I don't want to go too crazy on this, and I want to try to get this done in this video. So sometimes I have a habit of just going too far, but then again, it's the little details that make the difference. So we'll just continue on. We'll try to get this done in this video, so we'll see how that goes. couple other stones we can do. And then on this base, we'll also throw in we'll throw in a little bit of brown or some sand-like color, and just try to break up some of the color. Let's see how that goes. So I think that's a good stone color. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Nice. We got a little bit of the crevasse. And then let's say if we want to kind of dip some of the edges and stuff, and see how we can take this and how we create a little white line. So we went through there, and we can get some line, kind of almost like edge highlighting, by just kind of taking off a little bit of that paint, and that comes out kind of good. Not a huge amount of shock and awe, but a little bit of detail never hurt. Just a quick little tip. Instead of having to go through and do edge highlighting, excuse me, again, what you can end up doing is just kind of brushing off on those sharp edges, kind of like like what you would do with dry brushing, is you're getting that paint just on the rough edges. Well, if you paint on that color, as we can see there, like on that line right there and right there, on some of those points, you can scratch off some of that paint, so the white underneath, so it actually looks like, you know, you have some more definition on some of these. And you don't have to pull out another set of paints or do edge highlighting. So just a little tip. Okay. We're going to go back to our satchel brown, and we're going to do those boots, because I think that'll tie in the character pretty good. Especially along this base. So that'll do it good. Ooh, that's a lot. But again, if we get too much on there, we can always go back and we can just kind of dab it with a cloth. If it's too dark, you know, or we could just kind of do something like that. Just kind of dab it, and we'll be all right. So you got the boot there, and should be good. Not too bad. I'll just go up a little bit, because we're going to have some silver pieces there. I think what you can do is we could do some brown on this here too, on the back side of the leg, just so that we can we can cheat a little bit. Nothing wrong with cheating, especially when you make the rules. And we'll kind of do it on this one too. I'll just do that lower layer there. And then we'll just save that piece right there for some silver-ish action. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, not too bad. Okay, that works. I love dropper bottles. Dropper bottles are the way to go. For those of you who did Citadel, you have the paint pots like this. These paint pots are horrendous. These were my first set of paints, was Citadel and like the 12-pack or whatever it was. And then you flip this up and then you set it and you dip your paint. And then if you knock this over, you're going to lose all of your paint. And so that's really horrible. So what I ended up doing is taking all my Citadel paints and putting them into dropper bottles because, for example, if I knock this over, nothing comes out. So you save your paint. And that's very important because Citadel paints are expensive. I've got this battery-powered mug that keeps my latte warm. Okay, now I think what we can end up doing is let's get into some silver. So we need some gold or silver-ish. And we have broadsword silver. We also have some hoplite gold. So we have that. What else do we got? That's gunner camo. That's not going to work. I want to try to do this with all. But I have these paints over here that are screaming, and it's like, oh, plate mail metal, or the lead belcher. Oh, lead belcher is one of my favorite ones. I really like it. But I promised I was gonna stick with the Army 2.0. So we'll see how that goes. Alrighty, broadsword silver. Let's mix that up. So we get some silver on there. We can get some silver with gold accents on there. We have gold. We also have, oh no, my topper came off. We also have a Talos bronze. That'll be good too. Nice. Let me fix this real quick. I made these little, or I didn't make them, but I downloaded them, and then you put them on the tops of your bottles. And apparently I didn't use enough glue. And what you can end up doing is you can paint the tops and you can see what the colors are going to be. So instead of trying to guess or look at the picture on the bottle, you can take a look and you can get kind of a good look on what we'll get there. So let's do some broadsword silver. And we'll start doing some of these armor plates. And that should look pretty good. And we'll start off in the back. Well, let's just start off here. We'll do his little arm thing. That doesn't look like a lot of silver-ish, but it kind of is. I found another place where we could do some brown. Got some little edging that we could do right there, and then on his hand. So, oh well, we can always go back. Let's see if we can get this going. That doesn't look like a lot of. color, because that didn't look like silver silver. Let's see if we can get some better. And now, okay, there we go. It's a little bit better. Just need to mix it up a little bit more. Again, like I said, we could do some more brown on there. So you just always go back. There's always things that I miss, always. And we can get that. I think that's going to come out good. See if we can get back over here. Yeah, that's better. More of that silver. That is going to look good. Now we'll get the big armor. And this is the cool thing about this stuff is it goes into the recesses really well. You don't need to be like highly technical. So that's nice. And it's just a great way to paint if you don't want to spend a lot of time, you know, trying to crack the code for painting and trying to figure out, you know, oh, edge highlighting and shading and so on and so forth. The speed paints really allow you to just, as long as you got some good zenithal, and you should be good. And you can kind of, if you can paint in a straight line, that helps as well. So, Feliz Navidad from Todos. In3D, what's the name? It's really small on my tablet because I got a small tablet. In3D, IED. Cool. Feliz Navidad. I actually saw, who's the guy that sang that song? Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad. And I can't remember the rest of the song. But whatever that dude's name was, he actually, I saw him here in Korea when I was a young soldier. And yeah, that was kind of cool. It was really neat. His name's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember his name. But we got to see him perform, and he's blind. So it's messed up because I think about the military and I think Jose Cuervo. No, that's not him. Yeah, I did a lot of drinking in the Army. Yeah, this is going to turn out pretty good, I think. Methinks. And then we got to go through and we got to check out. I think he's got hair, so that is going to be the other interesting part. I need to try to find something for the hair. So yeah, that'll be fun. And I think on some of these armor plates, we'll really draw out. So we got like this little plate here. You can see that right there. I think we'll do that. We'll top that in gold, and that'll really bring out some contrast. So that'll turn out great, hopefully. And again, these these speed paints are nice because they just flow right into the nooks and crannies and everything. And it just makes for an easy paint job. I don't know how long we've been streaming or doing this, but it really is really nice. And pretty much as long as you can do a straight line, you should be okay. And you can get some really good results on this stuff. Like we see there. This has turned out really good. What color is orc hair? You need to let me know, because that is something we need to consider. Orc hair is black. I think we could do a black. That could work out. Okay, and we'll do a little bit of armor on his front knee there. A bit of plating, since we got that. I'm still wondering who sang that song, Feliz Navidad. That is going to bug me until I look it up, or somebody tells me, or I remember. Oh yeah, that's going to look good. Good. I think we can do a little bit. Do some brown on there, but I think we can just edge that up a little bit more. Yeah. And then we can do some silver on this thing. And then we can do like a little accent on there. And again, this is FDM printed on the Creality K2 Plus using PLA, Polymaker PLA. So yeah, 0.08 layer height. And yeah, it turned out pretty good. I mean, it's definitely not like resin printing a miniature, but as far as like, you know, would it suffice for tabletop gaming? You know, I might do that bottom in gold as well. So that way we can get a little continuation. Kind of run some colors together. So yeah, this has turned out pretty good. Pretty good. Just kind of. I think we'll do a little bit of coverage there. Not bad, not bad. And what are we going to do the hammer in? The hammer's going to be interesting because we've got a little bit of a skull there, but it's hard to, it's real muddled. And then we've got the skull there. Of course, those will be like skeleton bone-ish. And I think we can do some, we could do like a gold on that little piece there. And think that'll work. We will see. We will see. Let's see, we got Corsair the Pirate. Once you paint them, what do you do with them? That's a good question. Put them on, you can see behind me. I got a little thing there, bunch of shelves. I put them on there. And I don't know, that just display them. Gives me something to do. So, okay, so we got that. Interesting thing. What are we going to do? Oh, I need a little bit more. Had a couple areas that needed some attention. I think I'll just go ahead and do a little swab of silver there. As we did a little swab there. I think that'll work. Now, other silver areas. There's a little place I missed. So yeah, pretty much I'll just display them, and turns out pretty good. So it's just kind of cool. Just a little hobby thing that we got going on. So, we could go through, now that we did broadsword silver. Again, we're going to use nothing but speed paints, so you'll see that. Y'all like the camera from this view, or should it be like, because I'm looking down and you'd probably just see a lot of my forehead. Wonder if I should move the camera down a little bit so it kind of looks up as I'm painting. You can, I don't know, let me know in the comments section if you think that's important. I don't know. I'm here to please. Okay, let's do some Talos bronze. This is good. This should be good. Because with the brown that we have in there, this will kind of tie in the brown, and then when we use some golds for highlight, we'll kind of have that warmish brown, bronze, gold looking-ish-ness thing. All those kind of natural colors, which will be a contrast to the silver, the dark colors, the shadows, and things like that, so we can get some things that will just pop. So, yeah. We'll see how this works. And we got to make sure these are, I haven't used these in a while because I've been doing a lot of printing. And like when I did my big sword, I ended up doing spray cans. So good. So Talos bronze. Let's throw some bronze on here. See what we can get going. And here we go. Ooh, that's going to be that is going to be an interesting little color there. I like it. And then when we do the skull on his front there, that'll really make that pop. You can see that. How's that look? Pretty good. And then maybe I'll do, you know what, I'll do that color down here. So that way we can get some kind of tie in. And I think what we can end up doing is we can just do a little bit of a band around here. So that way we get some continuity. At least that makes it sound like I know what I'm doing. I'm just painting. I'm just throwing stuff on here. So I'll do a little bit on there as well. come back and do some. Let's see, where else can we do some bronze? Or do we want to save that for the gold? Save the gold on there. Bronze, I don't want to go too big on it. I can do a little bronze on the side there. Now leave the gold for the rivets on like the back. Maybe some bronze on these couple of pieces. Excuse me. Yeah, like right there. And then we'll do a little bit of, this will do a little bit of bronze there as well on that side piece. So that it'll kind of tie in, supposedly. At least that's what we're going to try. Can I get in there? Yeah, we can get in there a little bit. So that way we got some bronze on there. And then we can go through and we can do some little, and just do a little accent there. Whatever that little thing is, I'll just throw some bronze on that. And should we do some bronze on these there? Should we save that in gold for like the rivets on the boot? I think what we can do is we can do some bronze. Nah, we'll do gold chains. But it's got some rings on there. Let's do those in bronze. On this bottom. That's just so close to that color. I think it'd be better in gold. Interesting. What do we do? Do we need any more bronze? Can't think of anything. How does that look? That not too bad? Things turned out pretty good. So I think we're good on the bronze. I think what we'll end up doing, like the chains and everything, we'll put that on some gold. So the bronze, you did us good. Now we'll go on to the hoplite gold. Yeah, we'll throw in some little gold pieces in there and we'll see how that looks. And just to make it, I still need to find something for that. Maybe we can, for the hammer. And then the skulls we need to take a look at. We have bony matter, so I guess we'll do that one for the skulls. And so the bony matter, we will use that. But we still need something for the big hammer-ish. Grim black, it's going to be too black. We might have to go with, no, that's the stone. We don't want to use the color we used on the base. We might have to go back to the broadsword silver for this guy here. And let's go ahead and do that. Just mix this up real quick. Do a little touch up on the hammer. And we should be good. And then we can clean up, and then we'll move on to the gold. And then we can always do some little accent stuff on this guy. Because it's not going to take much. And we can always kind of do some colors. We can do some blood splatter on the hammer as well. Yes, blood is good. Blood for the blood god. If you got that Warhammer reference, you get a gold star. Oh yeah, I think it's going to turn out good. Yeah, we can always go over and paint that. Not a big deal. A little bit more. On this back side. And I think we should be good. And we'll probably see if we can do some, maybe we can do some bronze on the spikes on this thing too. And then again, maybe some blood. So that way we get a little bit of contrast on there. So I don't want this all to just kind of run into each other and just be a mass, a big mass of gray. I need to break up that into some other colors. So we'll let that dry. We'll go back to what we were going to do with the gold. And let's get our gold on. Oh yes, gold, gold, gold. And we're just going to do, it's real muddled up in here, but we're just going to put some gold on here just to hit some things and try to, I don't know, make it like he's got, you know, some kind of little, I don't know, decoration in gold, kind of gold chest plate or something type of thing. We'll see how that goes. I think that's okay. We could do the skull in gold too. There's that possibility. Will that be enough contrast? Interesting. We could do some, let's do some spikes in gold on his knee. And some of these things here. Just a little dabble, do ya? Oh yeah, I think that'll be good. That'll break up, see how that breaks up all that silver. And I'll do a little dot there. Yeah, that is good. I think that's the one thing I learned is that just those little details, like it's not gonna be huge, but you're just breaking up all of, you know, one color And so you get some pretty good just a change, a little bit of a change. Change is good. And we'll kind of just throw a dot there. I can barely even see that, but we'll put a dot there. And let's go on to the back. And we can just do some dots. Let's go ahead and do this one right here, as it's kind of got a skull. So we'll just fill that in with gold. I think that'll be good. And then I'll just do some little dots. Kind of break up that little bit there. And we'll just put a dot of gold on that right there. Maybe we'll make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, that'll look good. George says looking good. Thank you. Yeah, turned out not bad. It is good. I like it. I'll do gold dot there. And I think we could do one up there too. So again, that looks good. That looks good. Good. George says, sorry I haven't been chatting much. I've been cooking. George has been cooking for a while. He's been doing cookies yesterday. Which, George, you didn't give us a report on how the cookies turned out. So you have been remiss in your duties. But yeah, he was doing cookies, and so now he's cooking again today. So George is at it. I think it's turning out good. Let's go ahead and we'll do a little bit of gold on the I think we'll do some of the bronze up on the hammer and some of the spikes. I think that'll work. And as far as gold, maybe I can do some on these little spikes here. We'll do gold on there. And maybe we'll be good with gold. I'll see if that works. Oh yeah, that'll look good. Oh yeah, that was nice. Yeah, just a little bit of stuff. Do we want to do gold on these spikes? I don't think so. I don't want it to overpower. But, yeah, I'm going to do a little gold. Let me do one stripe down here on this bottom. There, that'll look good. We got that little bit of gold there. Kind of gives some change. Let's see where else. I could go to, let's do some gold chains. Let's pimp him out. We'll pimp him out. So on the front of that loincloth, we've got chains. You know what? I'm going to get my super geek glasses on. And oh yeah, that's much better. Oh crap. We put it just, ooh. We're going to have to come back with the, because that gold just really just kind of just went everywhere. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get in there. We'll have to come back with some of that brown and kind of fix that. But there are a couple of dots that I could end up doing on here. Wow. I don't know. That looks a little rough. Maybe we can just do some extra little. Oh, seriously, really? You're gonna do me like that? Ah, seriously, you son of a bitch. Dang it. Christmas chaos. Okay, let's see. Let's load up with some gold. I just want to do some dots. That's all I want to do. Honestly, I need to redo that in silver because it's just too muddled. I got bronze on there. I messed up with some bronze. I messed up with the gold. And I'll just throw a little bit of a gold under thing there. We'll do a gold underneath there. Wow, when you get the magnifying glass on here, you're like, man, I got all kinds of mistakes on here. I still need to do some orc color. This is what I'm talking about. I mean, when you get the magnifying glasses and you're looking at this, you're like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. But if you take them off, you're not going to notice it. Boy, talk about being self-conscious. Maybe I should have just painted this with the glasses. But then I would just, that would make me really, I don't know. Wow. Interesting. Okay. Let's take these off. That always happens. Every time I put the magnifying glasses on, it's like you see all the little things that need work. And you're just like, oh my gosh, it's horrible. But when you look at it from here, it's like, oh, that looks really good. But when you put the magnifying glasses on there, it's like, oh man, I need to change and work on this. And oh man, need more green. Let's fix that little piece that we had. This one here. Since I muddled that all up with the bronze, and once I muddled it up with the gold, and we still need to go back with the let's see, is that gonna, okay, that'll work. But without the magnifying glasses, the fun part is you look at it and it's like, not too bad. And I'm not sure what we'll do with the hair. Maybe we'll do the black hair. That'll be an interesting. So I think we're done with the gold. I think we are. Or the silver. I think so. I'll put that to bed. George says, really good. The chocolate chip cookie recipe is from 1938. Holy crow. Nice. It better be good. You got time on your side. What was that movie with Denzel Washington? And it had Elias Koteas or whatever. And Denzel Washington was he was a policeman, homicide detective, and Elias Koteas, however you pronounce his name, was the serial killer. And then, what was the name of that movie? And so the demon inside of the bad guy could be passed through touching other people. And the song was from Time's on My Side by Rolling Stones. Time is on my side. Yes, it is. And so the bad guy would touch somebody and his spirit, the demon spirit, would go into the other person. That other person would start singing that song as well. I can't remember the name of that movie. That was really good though. That was really good. That was good. I like that. Okay. Let's try some of this bony matter. We'll see how this works. It's going to need a lot of shaking up. What was the name of that movie? I can't remember. I don't know why the name Bedazzled keeps coming to mind, but that was with Brandon Fraser and what's her face? Bedazzled? No, that wasn't it. I don't even remember the name of that one. Two totally different movies. Well, I mean, they both had the devil, bad guys. But the Denzel Washington one was real cerebral. So that was good. I like that. Alrighty. So we're gonna try some bony matter. See if we can get our bones on. We're gonna bet some bones. So we will do the bony matter on this guy right there. I'm not that impressed with it. I can tell. It's almost like it's a, well, kinda. Yeah, it kinda works. You just need some more white. So it's not bad. It's not as skeleton bone-ish like skeleton bone from RE Painter. That's a really good color. But I'm only going to do speed paints. That's why I said I was only going to do speed paints. So we're going to stick with it, even though the skeleton bone is screaming at me. Use me! Use me! And just kind of put that on there a little thick. That turned out good. That actually turned out good. I like that. Not bad. You can see that on the little skulls that we've got there. I think it turned out pretty good. I think you redeemed yourself, Bony Matter. Good job. And I've got some other areas here, like around his wrists. There are some places where there's like cloth, but I don't want to use the brown. I want to use another color. So, what should we use? What should we use? We have our satchel brown that we used. We have, we've got Fire Drake. Dusk red. No, that'll be too close. And then we've got this other color. We got paintbrushes falling. Rudy Fur. Rudy Fur. I like Fire Drake. Let's go for the Fire Drake, and we will put that on the cuffs and some of the other areas that has some fabric. So that way the fabric, you get that depth of field. So it's not all brown. You know, we got brown this, brown that, brown that. If you have different layers of brown, then that again is a little bit more detail that'll make it interesting, and it'll break up all of the one color that we have. And this Fire Drake is a really good color. I really, really like it. It is a wonderful color. You can get some really good details on there. Talking about, George says probably my favorite movie of Denzel Washington was Crimson Tide. That was a good one. Denzel's a great actor. He does some really good stuff. So with this, let's go ahead and put our Fire Drake on there. Ooh, that's kind of a rich color. Look at that. That is nice. It's kind of a real rich, warm color. Oh yeah, that is going to be good. And then we'll do it over here. Kind of that piece there. I'll kind of do it on the inside of the arm there, as I missed a bunch of stuff, but ooh, that looks good. That is a good color. I think we did good on that. So I'll put it on here as well. Probably won't see it, but that is a good color. I really love that color. How rich that color is compared to the brown. That turns out really nice. Oh, we got that right there. A little bit more. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Let's see if we got somewhere else that we can put this. because I love that color. So let's just put a little bit on top of this, off of this layer here. Maybe get a little bit of a different color. Oh yeah, it's gonna look good. And then I'll put a little bit down there too. So that way we get a little bit of a different layered color look. And let's do it down here as well, on that boot area. So you get that rich fire drake look. Oh yeah, that was a good call. Sparky's here. Hey, Sparky, happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Denzel has great screen presence. Yes, he does. He is very good. And then he did Training Day. That was an intense. That was intense. And let's see if we can just do a little dab of this fire drake on here. And just get a little bit of a different color in there. Oh yeah, that's going to be nice. Nice, nice. Is there anywhere else? I got this hanging down. We'll just put a little bit here and a little bit there. And oh, that is just going to be good. That is good. Fire drake turned out well, gentlemen. Maybe we'll do a little bit more back there. On the back of this, a little bit of a back of the leg. That looks good. Yes. Nice. Nice, nice. Ooh, yes, that has turned out great. Fire drake is really good for if you're doing brown, especially that satchel brown or any of the other browns. This can really create a nice, deep, rich color that is just like, wow. And again, it just kind of makes it so you look at the character and it has, if you did just one color, then it's like, okay, you made a cloak, you made his loincloth, everything is made out of the same batch of leather or same animal. When you start adding different colors in, then it kind of gives depth, as if, okay, this was from one animal, this was from another animal, this was from, you know what I'm saying? That's what really makes that pop. Okay, how's that turning out? You'll see that? Just kind of what we end up seeing there. That is, he's turning out good. Turning out good. We need to do some hair though. And I think we're going to do black. Man on Fire was great. Oh yeah, Denzel Washington, Man on Fire. That was a good movie. He's just a real good actor. The Equalizer. The first he disappointed me, or at least the story disappointed me on the one Equalizer where he was working in the home improvement store, and it has all the guys that are coming in and that they're all decked out in tactical gear and guns and the whole 9 yards, and he kind of, you know, he takes them over and, you know, with Home Depot weapons or whatever, and then he uses a nail gun on the last guy. And it's like, if you were a highly trained CIA operative, as soon as you took down a bad guy, you would take his weapons and use those instead of a nail gun. I was just, when it got to that part, I was just like, oh, seriously, who was thinking of that? It's just horrible, horrible, horrible. All right. That disappointed me. But that wasn't Denzel's fault. That was the story writer's fault. Because the story writer was an idiot. It's like, come on. I know you try to want to be that, I don't know, Bruce Willis, type of thing, but yeah. And then the other Equalizer, yeah, I think it just got done too much, and it just kind of lost me on some of those. So, but all his other stuff I really liked. Okay, black. We have Grim Black, and I think we'll try to do his hair. So let's mix that up. And since we've got, this brush is a little bit rough, so we're actually going to use the speed paint brush that came with the speed paint kit. And this, I need to clean this one up. Gonna make sure that black is all mixed up. But I want to make sure that I get this clean. I'm trying to take better care of my brushes. I'm trying. So we'll see how this goes. Which is good. I need to take care of brushes. And to try to keep them from spraying out, we're going to use a little bit of a hair gel hold, and so that way we can kind of get this tip nice and sharp. Which I think we're good. Okay, leave that there. Okay, black, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to use the Army Speed Painter paint brush. So, make sure that this is all good. And we're going to do his hair in black. So keep the fingers crossed. And here we go. That's like not really black. So it's more of a gray. Maybe I need to shake this up some more. It's like a gray, it's not like black. Or maybe I just didn't shake it enough. Yeah, maybe I didn't shake it enough because now it's looking black. So now, yeah, there we go. So that's what the problem was. This is very interesting black. It is quite the interesting color. my super geek glasses so I can get a little bit clearer detail. Kind of like a bluish, it's like a greenish tint to it a little bit, which isn't bad because he is an orc. It is an odd color. It is. But it is what it is. I need to go back and do some. And once again, as I put the magnifying glasses on, it's like, oh, I need to fix that, I need to fix that. Huh. Come on now. Clean all this up. But holding it here, you can't really see the hair, how that turned out. Let's see how that goes. So you can see how it's kind of like, it's all right. But not bad, not bad. Ferrithus, hey, good morning, sir. Happy holidays. Painting again, yes. Painting again. We're doing the Speed Paint 2.0 on the Orc that we printed out on our K2 Plus. That turned out good. To see if you could make something like this tabletop ready. And I'm saying it looks pretty good. Let's go back to our, here's some green that we need to put back on here. Not too crazy, but there are just some areas that needed some touch-up. And there's the little finger that I wanted to fix, and I think we're good. I think we are good. And I might want to put a little bit, I was going to say, hey, I could put a wash on there to really highlight and get the depth in the eyes and stuff, but then it was like, but that wouldn't be speed paint. So we'll just kind of do a little bit of brushing. So we get a little bit of depth in there. It worked out. Oh, let's see. What else do we got? Ferrith says, better paint job than I could ever do. Yeah, it's all right. My dad loves his printer. We set it up and he's printing overnight already. Poop shoot. Cool. That's awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. 3D printing is so fun. And I think it's really good for men because if you don't get to make stuff, I don't know, I think men have this innate ability to want to make stuff. So with 3D printing, I mean, unless you model it yourself, did you really make it? It's semantics, I think. But I think you get something, you take a file and you make it and boom, it prints out. I mean, that's fun. That's good. I like that. So I think there's some accomplishment in that. Let's see, what else could we do? Oh, we were going to do some blood, didn't we? Weren't we? We have bright red. We have nuclear sunrise. No, that's probably not going to work. Slaughter red. Are we gonna put some red on the tips of the hammer? What other red do we have? Carmine dragon, poppy red. Nope. Oh, that's a yellow. We don't want a yellow. I think the slaughter red is going to be our culprit. Dun, dun, dun. I set all his basic model and material settings for him so he can just print away. Print away! That is cool. That is awesome. To be able to do that with family. That is really cool. I'm the one that is printing for my daughter. She's 30. But then, or 30-ish. But then again, she's also a doctor, so matter of fact, she's on call as we speak. So yeah, her time is limited, and being a doctor in the military, and she's in charge. She's the OIC, officer in charge of a few clinics, and they are running her ragged. So she doesn't have a lot of time to do this. She doesn't have a lot of time to do her D&D stuff. Painting miniatures and stuff like that. She's crazy. She does play D&D every once in a while. Of course, she does that online, FaceTime with her friends back in the United States. So that is a little bit crazy. But yes, it's rough for her. But when she finishes her tour of duty with the military, because they paid for her medical school, she'll get out, and she won't have any student loan debt whatsoever. It'll be all paid off. She, certified doctor. She'll have overseas experience, in the military and all that stuff. So all of that will come into play, and it'll be really, really good. So then she'll get a job being a pediatrician or whatever it is, and then she'll work. I mean, there's jobs for doctors working 3-4 days a week, making 120 grand or more, depending on where you're at. So, 200,000 for working 4 days a week, no on call, except for, one day a week maybe, or something like that, one day every two weeks or something. She's telling me about that stuff, and it's like, that is way better. So, dun, dun, dun. Ferris says, on call, fun. I'm in the same boat, but luckily I build my lasers right. The calls are in less. It keeps me motivated to do my stuff right away. Yeah. And it's always good. I think we'll dab some blood on here. Let's see how this is going to go. Blood for the blood god. Oh. And here we go. Let's see if we can. Oh yeah, that'll be good. I'll just do some little Some little dots there. I would try to do the spraying thing, but I don't want to do that. And, do some on this side. Stomach is growling. So how is that? Does that look good? I think that looks good. A little bit of blood. A little blood on the hammer. Now, let's see if we can stick to, oh, we got another thing where we could put a color on. We got some lines up here. No, I think I'll just leave that the way it is. I think we're good. How does that look, you all? I think we did good with an FDM printed miniature with speed paints. I think it's not bad. Okay, let's see if we can do, we got to do something with the base. Something with the base. We need some other colors. I don't want to do too much green because that'll distract, I think, from the dude there. We'll see. Ferrith says, no comment. Looks amazing as always. Thank you. Just shapes and colors. Shapes and colors. We need to do something for the base for kind of a ground color. We got noble skin. I don't really want to do a brownish, but Tyrian navy. No, I don't want to do that. You know what I might do? And texture mud from Green Stuff World. In the texture series. I know I said I was going to do this in all speed paint, but this is texture. This is mud. So I think I'm okay. Let's do some mud. Oh no, it dried. Seriously. Oh no, our mud dried. Our whole mud dried. Seriously. Of course, I haven't used this in ages, so dang it, it is like concrete. Okay. Well, we found out that this can go in the trash. We got some other ground textures. We've got Middle Earth. Hopefully these aren't. We got Streaking Grime. I don't want Streaking Grime. We've got Light Earth, Middle Earth, and Dark Earth. Hopefully these are, gotta make sure the lids are on there. Let's try this one. Okay, well that's a good sign. Yes, it is malleable. That top's a little. We need like a scraping-ish tool because we're going to scrape this and put it onto the base. Ooh, that top part there is solidified. But can we... Oh, okay, we got some. Yes, that is good. So maybe we can put some of this on here. Come on, get off the stick. I haven't used this much at all, so maybe I just need to get down and dirty with it. And just kind of coat that on there. And just kind of pack it in maybe. My hand's all muddy. Mud texture, and it behaves like mud. Yes. That it does. It is... They probably just go like out to a yard. Probably in the green stuff world, it's probably got a just a dirt pile, and they throw some stuff together. Let's see if we can't throw in some, if we can do a little bit of texture action. It's almost like I need a spatula. It's getting muddy, getting dirty. Ooh, yeah, let's get dirty. And then, see if we can't push some of this in there. That is such an odd thing. just use real mud? I know, right? See if we can get that. We'll just kind of try to get a little bit of texture going. Just I need like a spatula or something. Just seriously, it sticks to the stick. It doesn't want to stick to the. Well, I think that's good enough. What all you think? I think that looks all right. I think it does. I think we are good on our mud. It's such an odd thing. Odd. My fingers are all muddy. And then we'll have to throw on some varnish on this to seal it all in. Of course. And what else do I need to do? Oh, I got a little thing here. Coarse sand works nice for gravel texture. Yeah. Mud and glue. Glue is always good. Yeah. Put in some Elmer's glue, some of that white school glue. You can do that. Let me make sure this cap is on there good. And since we're doing the base, there's something else that we get out on there. Maybe add some UV resin to make it look really wet. That's true. We could do that. And then we got to do around the base in black. So we're going to have to get like black to do around the base for the black ring around that. I don't know. I think that turned out good. There's one thing we could put on here that would improve the look of this. I have sand, but I don't want to do that. I don't have a jar of dirt, but I have a bag of dirt. So we could do that. Everything is a mess. Where is it? I mean, I've got some cement. I've got the UV resin I could put on there, but I'm looking for, we can throw that away. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I'm looking for something. I'm just not sure where it's at. Somewhere, I have, and I'm in the hobby room, and I'm looking for containers that have no, not there. Nope, I don't need LEDs, I don't need fans. Plastic, nope. Toolkit, nope. Spray paint, no. Oh, there's Therafis's spray can holder thing. Well, wait, do I got it over here? No. No. It's got to be in that room there. It's got to be in here somewhere, ladies and gentlemen. Where? Where? Oh, where? Let's change the point of view, because I'm trying to find is it in here? Oh, there it is. I found him. We have grass. So we're going to try the grass. I'll see which grass we can use. That is what I wanted. And let me clean up this brush real quick. Because I want to make sure I get all this stuff. I need another paper towel. Trying to find a clean piece of towel. Excuse me. Try to get the point on this, because we are to the point of we are done-ish, almost. We'll do a little bit of grass here. And we got a choice of green, or we've got the choice of kind of like sage, dried out. So we've got that, or we've got that. So we've got those two options there. So the question is, for our character, do we go for a green, or do we go for green, or do we go for like dried out brush? And I'm thinking we could do a dried out brush like right in the front there. So, and a small tuft. So let's do that. We will and just a small one. I think that one's a good one. I think that will work. This guy right there. And what we'll end up doing is we'll just do a little bit of glue on there. And boom. So there we go. I don't know, that's kind of, maybe we should throw some green in there as well. Why not? Let's find a tiny green. That's not bad. Find a tiny green. We'll put that behind there. We'll do both. Where is the smallest one? If we can do both, we'll do both. How's that? And they say that you can't please everyone. Well, I beg to differ. I think you can. Maybe. Maybe we'll get that in there. So there we go. So we got a little bit of brown, a little bit of green. I think that works out good. And the only thing left is to let the mud dry. But I think that worked out well. So we're going to leave these up there. And this is what we got. Is that in frame? Yes, it is. So there it is, our orc miniature that we printed on the Creality K2 Plus with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle with a layer height of 0.08. And then to see if we painted it and if this could be tabletop ready. And I think we have it tabletop ready. So you can see there, it turned out really good. Any other recommendations? Maybe on some of these spikes here, there's a lot of silver, just a massive silver. Maybe we should put some colors on these spikes. We did a little bit of gold on these spikes up here. Maybe we'll do it on here as well. Let's do that. Ooh, we have a metallic Sharpie. Maybe. Very nice, cool. Great to see 3D prints. Look at this, great. Hey, we got Ovo Who? Yeah. And this wasn't resin printed. This was printed on a Creality K2 Plus. It's PLA. Who says, I just got a 3D printer and minis are giving me the hardest time of all my prints. Yeah, I can understand that because of the supports. Really what you're going to end up doing is having to play with the supports, and your top Z distance is going to be something that you're going to need to look at. I did this one. Top Z distance was 0.24. We did a couple of others at 0.27, but I think that was I think 0.25, maybe 0.26. 0.25 might be the happy spot because you have a little tiny bit of connection, but they fall off really nice. At least they did on this one. On the other one, we put the 0.7, and they came off, I think, too easy. So that is something to look at. And then as far as your supports, Tree Slim, but it pops up with Creality Print anyway. It comes up and it says it changes the top Z distance to 0. Well, that doesn't work. So take a look at that. And then some people have said that they used supports for Tree Support Slim or Hybrid. And it just you just need to tweak and find out. And when you do your slicing on your program, you can really see the differences between the different types of supports and whether you're going to get the support that you need. We found that out yesterday when we printed out some stuff, and some stuff didn't get supported as much. So let's see. Resin printers are the mini kings. FDM printers have a really hard time. 0.2 nozzle makes it easier. PLA is a must. Yeah, and I'm going to order, matter of fact, I'm going to order the 0.25 nozzle, or the 0.2, I'm not sure. Here is this is resin printed, this is FDM printed. So if you can see some of the details there, and of course you're going to get better, quality with resin printing. than you are FDM, but because yeah, it's like what 50 microns, detail and all that stuff. But for an FDM printer at 0.08, this is really good, I think. I mean, this is tabletop ready. I would say this here is more than tabletop ready. That just turned out really good. I am really, really satisfied with that. I could go in and do some details that are screaming at me to do the details, but that would be like you can barely see some teeth. So, but since we just kept this at doing Army Speed Painter 2.0, we didn't use anything else except for the mud from, I don't know, Green Stuff World for the mud, but that's mud. For paint, we did all of this in speed paints. We got some excellent results. Again, we primed it in black. We did the white zenithal, and that was spray paint, by the way. And we just went at it, and this came out great. Again, some of the details are muddled, but if this is sitting on a table, I mean, even that this is about a foot away from my face, it is really good. You know what? I think I'm gonna do some of those in gold. And I have a Sharpie gold marker. Let's see how this works. Is that gonna do anything? Yeah, I think this is working. But the paint might actually be better. With that being said, I don't know, it's not too bad. Sharpie marker. It almost looks like the same color gold as we did with the speed paints. Can't really tell much of a difference. If we go back to the hoplite gold, we'll get a quicker coverage. So I get that stuff off of there. And I'll just do some quick gold on these. And on, we could either do the gold. Let me get my super geek glasses on. And, oh yeah, that almost looks like the same gold. Yeah, paint markers wouldn't be able to get into the detailed areas like this that you can with the brush. The brush is king. So yeah, that kind of breaks up that mass of silver. And on these big spikes, I don't know, we could do a different color. You know what I might do on this piece here, this on that shoulder, I could do that in that Talos bronze. And I think that would look really good. We could get some little bit of a different color instead of just silver and gold, silver and gold. And that, if we change that up, so that way that Talos bronze. So let's do that. And that is a lot. It's going to drip right into everything. I don't think that was mixed up enough. Let's see if we can fix that. Definitely need to mix it up a lot. Oh well. I think that'll work. We just need to mix it up real good. I think we'll be good. After I paint this, I'll check the comments. Alrighty. That should be much better. So, ooh. Okay, there we go. That's a little thicker. Yeah, that looks better. I think that'll work. Alrighty, where are we? Okay, there we are. Yes. Don't drop it. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. That gives some different colors. Okay. And I think I'll do this here. Let's paint that with some bronze. Oh, we could do those lines. Oh, yes, that'll look good. So we've got some lines in here that we need to do. A little bit much, but that's okay. Got more details. Just kind of flub this and we'll do a little undercolor there of the bronze. And then we'll go back and we will do the gold spikes. Oh, I think that'll turn out good. Good. All right, let's take a little break here and we'll read some comments. So bronze did us good. Let's see. Thanks for the advice. Sound like I'm really close to getting my prints looking good. I was playing with those exact settings. Also, metals look amazing. Oh, thank you. Also says working on getting a new macro lens for my camera. Those minis would probably look awesome with that. Yeah, I've got a Logic, or what is this, a emit 4K, and then, no, that's an emit 4K. This is the Logitech Brio camera that is doing the face top-down view. And then I've got the Elgato Facecam 4K for the one on the desk. So I think this is turned out good. But yeah, it would be nice to have a really, really high-end, crystal clear camera, but those are expensive. So I just try to make do with what I have. Okay, let's go back to the Hoplite Gold. And there we can see what we got going on, how we kind of did that color, because there was just too much silver. So we did some lines in there, a little muddled. But that's something with the speed paints, is that they are very liquidy. They flow like no tomorrow. So you definitely have to mix them up, but they do flow a lot. And it's nice in one aspect because the paints will go into the recesses. It just like sucks right into the recesses, which is really nice. But when you're trying to do detailed line work, because it's so watery, that can easily bleed into other areas. So yeah, that can be a problem. So I have a Canon SLR. Looking at the 100mm macro lens today they have. Large aperture lens are king. Oh man, that would be nice. That would really, yeah, that would make that pop. Okay, let's get our Super Geek glasses back on. And we will get these spikes in gold. Ooh, that just flowed right in there. Damn it. Just like I said it would, and it did. What are the odds? Maybe I'll just do one side of these and we'll see how that goes. And then hopefully I can tip it. Because these things just flow, like I said, like no tomorrow. And so if I do it upside down, maybe I can, oh good Lord, no. That is the only thing I don't like about speed paints. Is that these little detailed things that we're trying to do seriously. It just sucks right in there. So in reality, I just need to do lighter coats and not load the brush up so much. And we could always go back with a silver and we can just go over top of that. So, and then we could always hide some stuff as well. And hiding could be grunge, could be grime, the old grimdark look. So we could do that. Hide it with wash or whatever. But with this, I think we can throw some silver on there. And as you can see right in that, you can see where it's spilled right in that area there. Like I said, it just flows like water. We could touch it up though with the silver. Excuse me, so let's do that. Broadsword silver. Now, if I really wanted it to look good, I would pull out the Citadel lead belcher and do the plate armor in that. That would be my go-to. But this stuff flows like water. So I want to remain true to my word. I want to keep with it and just do speed paint. Super Geek glasses back. We'll see if we can clean up some of this mess. Which I think we were able to do. Yes, we were able to fix that a bit. Yes, we did. We fixed it. And since we have this silver, we can fix some of these other little areas that I jacked up. I got some stuff on his arm I could do with the gold as well. There's a little part I messed up. A bit of overspill. Spilling over. Oops. You know what? I think we are good. I think we're good, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we are good. Trying to see if there's any... I don't know, maybe we could do a little bit of... There's that little weird thing on the back of this. I think we'll do that in gold. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So on the back here, we've got his hair, but then we've got this thing right here. And then the hair goes down into here, so I colored this with the Talos bronze, but then I want to do that in gold. There's just too much black. It's screaming for some color. We just need to be careful. That we don't get too much. So, we are so close. And it's almost like there's a skull back there, but okay, I think that will do it. See that there? Right in there. I think we're good. Any other gold that we need to do? We could do the gold on there. Since we did it on the other side, we might as well do it on this side as well. Do some little dots. I think we are good. And again, I'm painting on the bottom where probably no one is ever going to look. Let's do a little bit of a gold dot there. Kind of see a, looks like there's something there. Of course, a lot of that is the UV resin that that we used to fix the staff because that broke a couple of times. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're good. I think we are good. Nice. Hoplite Gold. That worked out good. Oh, let's catch up. Jaminos, welcome to the show. Says, I have the K2 Plus and would love to do some minis. Can you quickly summarize your setup, including filament type, brand, nozzle size, hot plate type, layer height, etc.? Yes, we can. Since I finished this up. Ferrith says, okay, Steve, time for bed over here. The mini is looking absolutely incredible. Thank you very much. I think we did a good job on that. So a little spin around. I can see how that turned out. For an FDM printed miniature, yes, I think we did good, folks. So apparently, you can do and make miniatures, resin miniatures on your FDM printer, at least we did. And yeah, a little bit of prime, a little zenithal, throw on some speed paints, and this turned out great. Let me pack this with some soap on here, and then we'll let this soak and we'll come back. That one's good. We did that one. So, like Jamie said, he wanted to know some of the details on this. And again, let's just do one last look if we can keep this steady. And there it is. So I think we came out pretty good, folks. The only thing we got to do is the black around the base, which we'll do with some regular Army Painter black. But we see that we got some pretty good details there. It turned out good for Army Painter Speed Paint 2.0 and an FDM printed mini. I mean, that just turned out really good. Yeah, I think we did good. Okay, let's go back to the computer and we will go over some of the details of our miniature. Alrighty, yeah. So we ended up pretty good. Gotcha. I wish this would focus in. I could do a manual focus, but that's as good as we're going to get on this camera. But wow, we did good on this, guys. And again, the details on there, speed paints. This is more than tabletop ready, in my opinion. You know, if we look at other characters, you know, here's one that is resin printed that we ended up doing. And then we can see this guy here. Would you know that this one was FDM printed and this one was resin printed, or would you both assume that they're both resin printed? I mean, if you get really up close and personal, you would be able to tell. But even then, you would have to look for those 0.08 layer lines. Here's another miniature that was resin printed versus that one there. I mean, crazy. Do I have any other miniatures that would be similar to this that I did resin? Excuse me. No, not really. I do have this resin printed guy. So we have Ivor, and then we have this guy here. So, and this was done in Speed Paint 2.0. I mean, it's just, the detail is really good. I would say that is tabletop ready. Oh, wrong shelf. So the question is, let's go over some of the details on how and what we did, some of the settings, because Jamie wants to know. So we need to go over to the desktop, and boom, there is the orc. Now on this you can see all the details, and like I said, that is pretty detailed. You know, if we zoom in there, we can see the chains, the skull. You know, he's got a skull on his chest there, which we kind of, I don't know, it was real hard to tell. You can't see it on the Mini. It's just kind of muddled, but you can make out the skull that is right there on the Mini. We can see the lines here for the rope that goes across. We get his face. Can't really see the teeth, but again, it's super small. And here we see there's a strap there. Maybe we can go back and we can paint that brown, but it was so, I mean, still, you look at the detail on this. You know, we're able to get the clasp on here, you know, the boots and the shoes and all that stuff. And if we go on the back, you know, we can see that that's like board. We didn't see that, but, and there's his hair. Oh, he's got a little skull thing back there, but we didn't really see that. That came out muddled. So obviously resin printing, of course at 50 microns, you're going to get a lot better detail. But what we were able to get out of that, you know, the ring in the nose and all that stuff, you would be able to get that with resin printing. And of course our base, that's just the base, but that is pretty good. I think this is pretty good for the miniature that we got. I'd say we got 90% of the details. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Oh, you know what we can do? Let's see if we can get a picture. And we'll put it up on the screen. If I can get a good picture on my phone, and then I can put it on the computer. And let's see, can we do that? Make sure I don't drop it. That would be messed up. Be like, what? And we'll just do a front and the back picture. And again, of course, with the photos and everything, we're gonna get some real close details. Let's see if we can get super close. Okay, I think we're good. So excuse me. I know it's taken a while. Let's see, that one. You want to do that one. And we want to do that one. And I think we're good. So now we're going to take these, we're going to select them, and we will see if we can airdrop these. Can we? Cross your fingers. Yes. Hey, we've been able to use airdrop twice, 2 days in a row. Talk about good. Okay, so let's go back to the main screen here, and we'll get right to those settings. So let's go ahead and we'll just pop this down here. And let's throw up, oh, I don't want to do all of them all at once. Boom. So you can definitely see the layer lines on that, you know, but that is so close up. It's crazy. But when that is sitting on a table, even a foot away or 10 inches away, I mean, that's pretty good. I think that's tabletop ready. You can see the gold and stuff where the buttons on the back cloth, you know, are obviously too big. It's kind of limited by my vision. But, you know, for the most part, that ends up as a pretty good mini. So, that work? That work? I think it does. I think it worked out good. That is not bad. Tabletop ready. Of course, if this is sitting, like I said, if this is sitting, you know, a foot away, so this is about a foot away or whatever, it looks pretty darn good. It's only when you get really right up on it, and then you're like, okay, well, let me see. Okay, you know, then you can tell that it's FDM printed. But the average person, I don't think they'd be able to tell. And I've seen some people resin print and paint, and their stuff looks rough. You need to practice painting, but there's people that charge a lot of money for substandard painting. Okay, so I don't know. Tell me what you think, how that turned out. I think it turned out pretty good. We'll go over some of the details here. So let's go ahead and do that. And boom. So here's the details. So up here at the top, I went to the system presets and I went with the 0.08 standard quality. And what I ended up doing, wall loops, I would probably put that at 3. We're just not going to do that. Let's start at the top. So the layer height is 0.08. Everything else is default. If we go down here, everything is still default. No ironing. Wall generator is classic, so we haven't got those. And yeah, so nothing there. We changed this to 3 wall loops. I would do 3 wall loops, especially when you're doing a small miniature, because 0.08, you're going to need a little bit more wall loops to give some strength. So probably 3 or 4. You know, 4 you couldn't go wrong either. Let's see, what else did we do? We did 5% infill. Something to be said with a miniature. Maybe you could go more. 5, 7, 8%, 10%. So that way, and we did adaptive cubic. I don't think that's a real big deal, because when we take a look at, well, let's look at the preview. And where is it? Okay. Let's move this a little bit, and we'll slice the plate, and we can take a look at the inside. So the inside, it's taken a while. So 5% adaptive cubic. As far as everything else down here, everything else is stock. And then let's just go ahead with our settings. First layer speed, everything is stock with the exception of the overhang speed, which that first one I set to 60. And that was a recommendation by a guy who does a lot of figures and miniatures and life-size stuff. He sets that to 60. So I just followed his lead and I haven't changed it since. As far as supports, this is the interesting thing that we come down. So we do tree auto, we do tree slim, but with that, on the build plate only and remove small overhangs, we got some good results with that. But the top Z distance on some characters that we did, like this guy, we did a couple more. So we can see there, and the top Z distance 0.25 I think would be a good setting. It gives the support, but it also gives the, it also comes off really easy. So we did that. And then, let's see, what else do we got? That was the same. We increased our support object XY distance to 0.4. I think the stock or default was 0.35. That's where the support from your model is a little bit further away. And so we can actually see this here, that we've got some distance between the model, and it's really highlighted there. So there's the guy's foot, and we see this distance that's right in there. That's the distance that it's talking about. So if it's closer, you might have some problems with the model or the support touching the model or getting too close. So I set that to 0.4. So that's setting there. And let's see, anything else? Everything else is stock. We don't have a prime tower. On here, what we did is an outer brim for the brim type. So that way you get good adhesion. It's just what you end up doing. And then that way, as the brim is printing, that's going to be the first thing that's printing. And so if you're looking at that and your Z distance, your Z offset is off, you can change that while it's doing the brim. And so you can make some minor adjustments. So by the time the brim is done, you should be good to go. Most printers don't have a problem, and but some people have mentioned that Z distance, they have to change it on the fly. That's when you would do it, is if you're doing the brim. Don't do it while you're doing the model. You want to do it as it's printing the brim. So that way it's like, oh, is it too far down? Is it too far up? Find the happy medium. And then by that time, hopefully it'll go to the model and you'll be good to go and you won't have to mess with it. At least that's been my experience. So that was passed on to me. I'm passing it on to you. So let's take a look. Other than that, everything else is stock there, or the default settings, I should say. So if we take a look at the model, let's do that. And this is going to be 39 cents. 2.5 hours, basically, 39 cents for the filament that I bought, Polymaker Hyper PLA, or not, Polymaker Matte PLA. And it's 19.75 grams. So let's go ahead and we'll take a look and we'll see the inside of this. And we can see, like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So on the layer height, what do we got for walls? 3 there, sparse infill density, 5%. So the walls we got at 3. So there we go. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. So I think that's a good. Either 3 or 4 would be good. You're going to get enough strength and stability in your Mini. If you go with 2, that's where you're going to come into problems. And we kind of saw that. We saw some breakage on like an arm or a leg or something like that. So we upped that to 3. You could probably even do that to 4, but this seems to work out well. And then, you know, you can see the adaptive cubic. It's a small miniature, so really, you know, everything is so close together. I think, you know, for your, what is it, for your support, not your support, infill. Where is it? Infill, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, adaptive cubic. I use adaptive cubic. You could probably go with anything else, but it's so small. If it's a 32 millimeter miniature, you're not going to have that much of a problem anyway. So you're going to get some good stability with 3 or 4 walls. Your infill isn't going to be that big of a deal. You know, you can see how that's kind of building up there. And but your walls are going to provide the majority of the strength for that. And we do have all these seams. So that would be something that maybe, I don't know if that would be something to change or look into. I don't know. Jamino says, Polymaker PLA, got it. But I imagine there's other people that use Sunlu, there's people that use Creality, there's, you know, any type of PLA people have used on miniatures and printing them. So it just seems to work out. Says, I see that you're using Hyper PLA settings on your slicer, slot 2. No, actually, do I modify the settings? No. Over here, Yeah, I've got Hyper PLA. That's in my CFS on my external spool holder. That's where I have the Polymaker PLA mat. And I'm printing off of that. So I'm not even using my CFS because the Polymaker, I get the 2.5 kilo spools, and that's what I'm printing off of. So I'm not even using the Creality Hyper PLA. So I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, it's on the external spool holder. So if I was going to print this, let's say we go here and then we get to the screen here. If you want to do a calibration or not, that's up to you. But when you get down to this filament type right here, I would just click spool holder, and that will indicate that external spool holder, which is using the Polymaker PLA, matte PLA. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. Got it. Used external, yes. And this is something here, because we got all these white. All that white is the seams. So I don't know if that would be something, seam position. Maybe that's what it is. Seam position is aligned. I don't know. That's the default is aligned. Maybe we could do nearest. And let's see what those look like. I don't know. That doesn't seem to really do much. Let's try back. Does it know what the back is? Don't really see a difference there. Let's do random. Let's see what happens when we get random. But again, at a layer height of 0.08, I don't really think you're going to notice this on the Mini. Or assemble. Let's see what that does. Because I've never actually looked at assemble. It's just kind of, yeah, I don't really see any big difference between that. So that's the front of the Mini. Let's just do this. So there's assemble and there's aligned. So let's see what that looks like. Do we see more white? We see more, definitely some more lines in there. So I don't know, maybe aligned or maybe assemble. Let's take a look at that one more time. Kind of like going to the optical shop. Is one better or two? One or two? I don't know. We'll just leave it aligned. Just leave it stock and run with it. I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal because again, you know, you're looking at 0.08 layer line and you're looking at something that's, you wouldn't be able to look at this and say, you know, like pull up the Mini. Let's take a look at this. I don't want to lie to anybody. So here's the Mini that we ended up painting as well, printing. We did black primer and then we did white as a zenithal. So you can see we got the black underneath and for shadows. You can't see the seams. So yeah, it's at that small, I don't think it's going to matter. And here's the other dude that we ended up doing. And again, I don't think it's going to make a difference. You're not going to be able to see the seams at that small layer height. You're just not. So anyway, that's what we have. Those are the settings that we have for our Minis. Let's see, we got a question. Some people have mentioned a 0.2 millimeter nozzle for Minis. Have you ever tried that? No, we were talking about that on the previous stream. And because, you know, we've got this and we use the 0.4 nozzle, we just set it at that 0.08 layer height. I have the Micro Swiss hot end. So I don't have the stock hot end for the K2 Plus. I have the Micro Swiss, which helped me out. I had like 3 or 4 nozzle clogs with the stock that I just had to get rid of the nozzle and get new nozzles and put them in. And then a guy said, hey, you need to get a micro Swiss. He says, your clogged nozzle will disappear. And so I was about 400 or 500 hours into, and you're talking about 3 or 4 nozzles with the K2 Plus. I got the micro Swiss hot end with the 0.4 millimeter nozzle. And about 600 plus hours later, I still haven't had a clog. So take that for what you will. But yes, we looked up on micro Swiss, and they do have a brass nozzle that goes to 0.2 for the nozzle, and they have a 0.25, 0.3, and of course a 0.4. The hot end for the K2 Plus comes with a 0.4 nozzle, and that's what we've been using for this stuff. But I'm going to order either the 0.2 or the 0.25. I have seen some people that said that the 0.2 nozzle ends up getting some clogs because it's so small, and so some people recommended the 0.25. So I'm thinking this is just going to be for minis, but I mean the nozzle is only like what, 16, 17, 18 bucks, something like that. But I'll probably get the 0.25, so that way it's not super small, but it's small enough that you could get better results. But seriously, I mean, I don't know if you could get better. You could get better results. Let's throw up a picture here. We'll get a picture of this guy. Do I have? Oh, I don't have any pictures. Let me get some pictures of these guys. These are the ones, the second set that I printed out and prepped. And we'll paint those on the next video. Let's see if we can. And again, this is going to be these are actually 32 millimeters in height, but you can see the details, and it would definitely be ready for tabletop. Come on. Let's just rotate this guy around and do quick little pictures. I mean, you do lose some of the details off of this. And so, yeah, maybe with the 0.25 nozzle, we would definitely get a little bit better. But as soon as you prime it and paint it, I don't think anybody would really notice, especially once you paint it. Come on now. All right, back to the pictures. Select, boom, 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 boom. And we will airdrop these once again. Fingers crossed. Yes, we are good. And let's take a look at some of these. So this is, let me do a little bit of cropping here so we can kind of get this more manageable. And there we got some strings and stuff. I need to brush them off. But, and you can see the layer lines for sure. But honestly, that isn't bad. And again, we're zoomed in. But once we're going to paint these up on, let's get this over here. We're going to paint these on another video. So when I do another streaming video, we'll paint these guys up and we'll see how these turn out. And you can see the layer lines on here. I mean, you know, that's not too bad. Let's take a look at this guy, Mr. Axe wielding dude. And again, needs a little bit of cleanup, but I think once we get this guy painted up, and again, look at this face. The face is muddled up, yeah, but I think as soon as I clean them up and brush off the strings and everything, and then we start doing some painting like we did today, that's still pretty decent. That's tabletop ready. I wouldn't mind throwing this guy and playing a game. I would be happy with that. I think it turned out really good. So yeah, especially with the painting, you're going to be able to cover a multitude of those layer lines with the colors, and of course the zenithal, you're going to get the shadows and things like that. So yeah, I think it is going to turn out, that would turn out really good. So yeah. Is it as good as a resin printed mini? Absolutely not. If you really, really look at it, resin is always going to win out, hands down. If we look at, let me get a real small, what is the most detailed ornate? Well, that guy, maybe, or this guy. These are two good examples. Let's throw these up here. So here is a guy that we have. And again, I apologize that it's not crystal clear, but this is resin printed. And of course, all the surfaces are smooth and everything. It turns out really nice. And then we have, of course, these are the Warhammer-ish guys. But again, these are resin printed. And so, you know, you can't see any layer lines because they're 50 micron layer lines. But compare that with this guy, and unless you really, really seriously looked at it, would you know? Because again, the paint is going to hide a lot of those lines and everything. So, yeah. When it really gets, when we do a bigger one, so these are almost similar. This guy's a little bit bigger, but you can see the details on crisp and clean and smooth. Of course, these weren't painted with speed paints, so you know you need to take that into consideration as well. But the resin printing, you will always get a better product. But the thing with the FDM printed miniatures, you don't have the resin smell. You don't have, you know, you got to let that print. You got to clean off the build plate. You got the resin. You got to wear gloves, you know, put a mask on or whatever. Then you got to wash it with IPA, you know, multiple times. So you got to have a wash station, and then you've got to let it dry, and then you got to do the cure station. And then you got to go through and prime and paint and all that, you know, so you have some extra steps compared to making a miniature out of an FDM print. And you're saving some time, and you're saving, as far as price, I think they're comparable between resin, depending on how much you pay for resin, because we're looking at 39 cents for this guy, 39 cents. When we just did the slicing on that for what I pay for resin, or not resin, but for filament. So it's going to be a little bit, and actually it could be a little bit less because this is based off of a per kilogram price, and I have 2.5 kilograms and I have the price, so I'd have to do the math. It would be cheaper than 39 cents for this dude. Oh, we got some people wishing us Merry Christmas. Some folks that are also here in Korea, some folks that we know. So we'll have to send them a message. What else? What else? What else? It's going to be cold today. We'll have to send them a message. So yeah, quite the interesting thing when we're looking at miniatures and we're looking at printing resin or FDM. I didn't think we would get this good a quality out of an FDM with a 0.4 nozzle and 0.08 layer height. Let's get to some comments. But yeah, I'm going to order the 0.25 nozzle from Micro Swiss, and we're going to run with that. Jamie says, thank you for taking the time to answer my questions. I subscribe, by the way. Hey, awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. George pops in and says, resin is nice. However, I've seen some injection molding machines starting to become more affordable, and that will really make the market interesting. That would be interesting. Injection molding. You can make a mold with your 3D printer. Make your own sprues and stuff like that. Euladamas says, if you get a good workflow with resin, it's really not that bad, but FDM also has its post-processing, just not as many chemicals. And then says that the price for FDM and resin right now is very cheap. 3D printing has gotten a lot more efficient and cheaper, absolutely. And again, if you could get some good deals on resin or filament or whatever, that would bring your cost down even more. But when you look at like Warhammer figures and stuff like that and buying them in the store compared to printing them out with resin or FDM, similar characters, yeah, you're going to save a buttload of money. It's just totally insane the amount of money that Games Workshop charges for their guys. Insane. Especially when you can make your own. I mean, there's so many models out there. And then you've got so many artists that will create D&D figures, grimdark feature characters, kind of like Warhammer-ish. So many different types of games. One-page rules is basically Warhammer, except you got one page of rules. They have a bigger edition of rules, but the one page comes out free. So, if you're into tabletop gaming, with one-page rules, you can use whatever characters you want. They don't care. Use your Warhammer figures. Use your FDM printed. Use these guys as characters. Whatever you want. You could use sticks and rocks as characters in one-page rules games. They're easy. They're cheap and easy. So yeah, one of these days I want to get into a one-page rules game. So we got that. George pops up and says, it is a lot better than the old days when your only option was ABS and bed slingers. Oh yeah, that was a long time ago. Then we get the comment, come on, pop up. Says, yeah, buying in bulk is always the way to go. I like all the original ideas coming out in new games. Fun Trench Crusaders is a good one that has taken on a following. Really? Trench Crusaders. Let's pull that up. Not Trunch. Trench. Crusaders. Let's see, we got Trench Crusade. Let's take a look at that and see what we get. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Here, let's get rid of, we'll minimize that. The Trench Crusade. During the Crusades, a heretical band of Templars dared defy the Almighty, unleashing the forces of hell upon earth. Over 800 years later, in 1914, this merciless war between the forces of heaven and hell still rages on. Step into the cataclysmic struggle that will decide the fate of humanity's soul. Welcome, Pilgrim. Oh, look at that. Got the lore, got the fan gallery. Ooh, let's look at that. Shop, rules, manuals. Let's take a look at some figures here and see what we got. Okay. Let's see if we can make this a little bit bigger. Can we? Yes, we can. Ooh, look at that diorama. Got some cosplay. Oh, that's it? Oh, that looks cool. officialtheburiedlife.com or gmail.com. If you want to send me an email, you can do that. That looks kind of cool. Shop. What do we end up getting there? Dun, 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 dun. Jamie says, for your information, all they're calling them now FFF printers instead of FDM because someone copyrighted claim by a company. I think you're right. I think somebody did that, and it was a dick move. FFF, Fused Filament Fabrication. Okay, FFF, F3. F3 printed. Yeah, that's got to be a dick move. If you take something that has been out on the market, like FDM printing, fused something, whatever it is, manufacturing, and you copyrighted that just to sue people, yeah, that's a dick move. That is a totally dick move. So whoever that company is, I don't like you. Let's see if we can shop. Let's see what they have. So, Prussian Stoss Trooper Warband box. Okay. Check out a range of 3D print files on My Mini Factory. Oh, really? Interesting. Resin miniatures. Got some merch. That could be a cool shirt. Except I need like 3X minimum. Let's see what the box. $49 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters. Okay, I mean that's not too bad. But I think the My Mini Factory. Let's see what the My Mini Factory looks like. Oh, the company was Stratasys. Yeah, they're a dick company. I will remember that. And, ooh, look at all this stuff they got. $30 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A little expensive, but if it's a game that you can end up playing over and over and over again, but then again, you know, it is what it is. Accessory bundles, $8, $7 a character. That's a little pricey. But they look pretty cool. That 1940-ish type of, or 1914, 1913, whatever. That's kind of cool. Interesting. I'm sure they probably have a Patreon as well. Okay, cool. Oh, they got free objects. Free. Oh, maybe that's not so much free. Maybe they don't have any free. Nope, I guess not. Still, if you like it and you'll pay for it, then it's good. Doesn't matter. MMF is a good place to get minis from. That's true. That is true. You can find almost anything. Yeah, My Mini Factory, Colts page, that's always a good one. And of course, if you go to Yagi or things like that, there's a number of places where you can find some good stuff. Do a search for the free minis. Yes, I'm all about the free. So yeah, My Mini Factory is pretty good. You can get a lot of good stuff. They get a winter sale on. What is the winter sale? Ends on the 12th. Extra 10%. Ooh, so we got some serious discounts on here. So that might be worth checking out your favorite creator and see if they got some discounts, because 50%, that is an awesome, great discount. Okay. Alrighty. So that's what we got going on. Starkiller says he gets almost everything for them. Yeah, they've got a great assortment. So many different artists and creators on there. It's just incredible. But then now we have AI, and people are making their own characters with AI, and oh, wow, that's going to be wild. Yeah, 50% off. That is crazy. I will have to go through there and take a look at that. Interesting. That's cool. This is why I like doing this streaming stuff, because you all fill me in on some cool stuff, and we find out. I never would have looked at this at my mini factory. It's kind of rare that I do it, but it's like every few months. So the next time I would have looked at this would probably be past this sale, and I would have missed out on 50%. So I might have to pick up some stuff. Print out some stuff. FDM or resin printing, paint them up and be good to go. Maybe do some busts or whatever. That is pretty amazing. Yeah, some severely nice deals. Starkiller says, and if you're a Patreon for OPR, their site is 70% off. Oh, wow. How much is their Patreon? Is that like $10 a month or whatever? 10, 15 bucks? One page rules. Patreon. Let's pull that up and take a look at that. It is, of course, you can do it for free. They have some tiered systems. So here's the one-page rules. They have a tier 1 game supporters, $5 a month, 10 and 18. So let's see what we get. Make this a little bigger. So tier 1, $5 a month. 24 times short stories and missions, quest, campaign chapter, 2 paper miniature sets. So you can print out your miniatures on paper instead of, if you really want to go cheap. 1 paper terrain set, 6 game rule books, Army Forge Studio custom Army Creator app, experimental rules changes, 5% off Etsy, 5% only games discount, merch store, okay. And then the $10 a month, so you get all that stuff, and legendary goblin reclaimers, dwarves, so you get a bunch more models, hero models, fleet models, 26 sci-fi and fantasy, quest hero star, wow. Movement trays, simple bases, and then my mini factory 50%, and then the $18 a month. You get a ton more stuff. Wow, pretty impressive. I'd say the tier 2, if you were into one-page rules and you were playing that, the tier 2 does look good, and that's what Starkiller pops up and says. Madonna says, I don't think AI-generated models will be an issue. It's still really hard for an individual to express their imagination. Get back up there. Oh, wait a second, that was the wrong comment. To express their imagination, artists know terminologies, they still had to add their styles. That's true. And then Pop says, I do my own manual supports. I use the library sometimes from Lychee, and their selection of models is actually getting better. Yeah, I had Lychee, and yeah, when they first started out, their catalog of stuff was really, really small, and it was like, I haven't checked it recently, though. It's probably been over a year, so I don't know. Starkiller does tier 2. I don't know. I might get on. You know, I'll print out some free stuff from One Page Rules. If we take a look at their page and free starter set. And so for those of you who don't know, you can download that, and that's, you know, you get some information, you get some characters, so you can, at least you can start playing. STL plus paper miniatures, so you can print them out on paper. So you get some free stuff. And then they have their Age of Fantasy, so you got some characters there. The cool thing is that you can start, they give you stuff to start with. That is cool. You know, and then you can shop and, you know, buy more if you want. So, another site I use is also STL Flicks, but the ads drive me nuts. I thought about doing that, but it's like I don't do enough of that if I was going to do it, I'd do the lifetime. I just don't have enough to justify that right now. And with my visa here in Korea, I'm not allowed to work, so it kind of puts a damper on some of that if I wanted to do like print service stuff. It's kind of a gray area. But I don't know, we'll see. Interesting. Dama says, Patreon I really like is Num Num. It's more anime stuff and pop culture than minis though. Hey. Nothing wrong with that. That's cool. There's just, the amazing thing is there's just so much out there for Patreon, for creators, for games. Excuse me. You know, you got people making their own games, and it's just an incredible time that we're living in. There's something for everyone, absolutely. So it's absolutely crazy on what you can find online and in creators and everything under the sun. So it is wild. If you can't find a game to play, there's something wrong with you. Or just make up your own game and problem solved. So, yeah. So, yeah, there it is. What we ended up doing. Our FDM printed miniature dude, the orc, came out well. In the next painting video, we're going to take these two gentlemen here and we're going to paint them up and we'll compare them. Unfortunately, I didn't make them the same size as the resin printed ones that I painted, unfortunately. But at least we'll be able to do a little bit of a comparison. And again, I think with FDM printed miniatures, even with the 0.4 millimeter nozzle at the 0.08 layer height, we definitely got models that could be tabletop ready. You know, do a little bit of zenithal, do some speed paint, or even regular painting, and you would be good to go. No problem with that. Ladama says, I'm still looking for some good mecha and gunpla. Yeah, mecha. I got that. I do have a gunpla that I need to work on. It's just massively huge, and unfortunately, I think I bit off more than I could chew with that thing. It's sitting in the corner. I'll show you. I just need to get a day of where I'm going to actually do this. So there's a ton of parts in here. It is absolutely insane. It is just, yeah. I need to do this one of these days. One of these days, we'll do this. As if I don't have enough to do already. So, alrighty. Let's see. Ladama says, my issue is painting is always coming up with a good color palette. I just try to make sure that there's contrast, depending on the character, kind of like what we ended up doing here. You want to have some colors that flow and have something that kind of draws attention to the center or frame it, I guess. I don't know. I just learned how to paint a little while ago. I hadn't painted anything since last thing I painted, I think I was like 13 years old, something like that. And then I did adult things, and then I retired at 54, and then 55. Let's see, I'm 59 now, so 59, 58, 57. Been here in Korea for 3 years and started painting about 2.5 years ago. So yeah, all the stuff I learned is from YouTube. It's just like, you just started with a Warhammer figures, and then I printed out on resin some Warhammer guys that I found for free on, and ended up doing stuff like this. And yeah, that's how I started. It just kind of worked out, and did other characters, starting to get into people, and of course now orcs and other stuff. And yeah, it's just have fun and have practice, copy. Just pull up pictures of characters and just copy what they do. Try to replicate it. That's all I do. And then, yeah, it gets to the point where you do that enough, and then just kind of, you're like, oh, okay, well, I want to do this and this and this, and this looked good on the last ones that I did. So little tips and tricks pop up, and you kind of hold on to those, and yeah, you just paint what you want, and it just kind of works. So, alrighty. I hear my wife is out, and since it is Christmas morning, I gotta go. We're gonna have some breakfast, do some Christmas breakfasty things like that, and maybe we'll get with her daughter and see if we can get her some food or whatever. She's on call during Christmas, so maybe we can see her and surprise her with some food. We'll see what happens. So with that being said, we're going to finish up, but I think what we ended up doing is we came up and we did some good work on the miniature that was FDM printed. We did speed paints, and we knocked that out pretty good, pretty quickly. We'll do another video maybe tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Today's off day. What day is today? You know you're retired when you don't even know what day it is. It is Christmas Day. That's the day. It is Thursday. So tomorrow is going to be another gym day. And so what we're going to end up doing is we'll do the gym. So maybe on Saturday, we'll do the painting of the other two characters, and we'll see how that runs out. So, alrighty. So with that, boom. Ladama says, enjoy the holiday. Same with everybody else. Hopefully happy holidays with that. Appreciate all the likes and subscribes to the channel. That always fills my hearts with joy, especially during this Christmas season, the holidays. There's some people bought me coffee. Don't worry about that. Just like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to send me an email, there's the email address. I always answer my emails. Give me 1 or 2 days, but that is the best way that you can contact me with information or pictures of stuff that you do, or you just want to say hi, or you got questions about how we retired and stay in Korea, or whatever it is. I don't know. Just say hi. You're all good people, so I don't mind it. Thankfully, as of this time, we have 100% cool people. We have no jerks, which is awesome. I appreciate that. Okay, so anyway, happy holidays to everybody, and we will see you on the next video. If you liked and subscribed to the channel, and we're going to call it good. So, peace. Have a good one. Happy holidays. We are out of here.